are more aware than ever about how their data is used, or sometimes misused. But how well do companies really understand what people expect when it comes to privacy? And how can businesses strike the balance between personalized experiences and respecting consumers' trust? This panel discussion, What Companies Need to Know About How People Understand Data Privacy, will unpack these questions and more, exploring consumer perceptions, regulatory challenges, and strategies companies can adopt to build trust while staying innovative. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Gerald Anthony, Dr. Saja Salem Al-Qursi, Ina and Gandhav Sajdeva. Please give them a big round of applause.
Good afternoon, everybody. I know most of you are craving for lunch, but I hope you're also craving for our insights on data privacy. I'm Ina Ome. I'm Miss Marketing, Strategic Marketing Advisor for corporate companies and consumer brands, also government administrations. I'm on the point of view that data marketing is a necessary tool to run business. But I also recently wrote an article that consumers are willing to waive their privacy for user experience and convenience. So I'm in the company of people who are more on the security side. So let's introduce yourselves as well.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Gerard, founder and CEO of DBTS Technologies. We are a data management and data security company. And we have products on basically how to provide data services like analytics and AI without accessing customer data on your site. Basically from a security point of view, reinforcing security, setting new standards in security there. So yeah, I'm here to share my perspectives, especially from how customers understand security and privacy impacts the way we need to provide services.
Hi Gerard, hi Ina. So I am Gandharv, I'm the country head for India for Hybrid. So we are an advertising company, we are an ad tech platform, and I'm here to talk about organizations, but not only organizations, how are users looking at brand safety today, how are organizations looking at advertising, wherein brand safety plays a very important role for them as well, and not to be on the negativity, but to be on the positive side of the news. Along with that, yes, they should not be on the wrong websites or the ones where the brand goes for a toss. So yes, this is where I come into play and look at things for myself.
Great. I think we have a very interesting combination here.
Yes.
Yes, I think so too. We all listened to the previous discussion about cybersecurity, and it really hit me that it's interesting that the users of websites or web shops are more willing to waive their privacy in order to experience more convenience and user experience, etc., etc. And they really do not comprehend the risks of data security and privacy and the need of privacy and what the effects are if it's lacking. So I'm wondering what your takeout is on that.
Yeah, I think it comes down to especially when you're saying how consumers see privacy, there is a perception of how they see privacy when it comes to their data. But also, the reality is the way people behave many times do not align with how they perceive security. And in fact, I had read your article on how people will throw away privacy for just convenience. And that's so true. We think, like when you're asking someone, would you be able to share this data in the public? People would say, definitely no, it's private data. But the moment you're desperate to install an app, and that app is going to make something easy, you don't even think twice. You just hit saying, okay, in fact, on an iPhone, with all the security in place, the phone will ask you saying, this app wants to access your photos, wants to access your contacts, wants to access your mails, wants to access what other apps are doing on your phone. And you just say okay to all of them, even without thinking, and just say, go ahead. And it's just so contrary to the whole thing.
Yes, that's true. But I think in the digital advertising, you must be glad that people are willing to waive their privacy.
Yes. So as we've been listening for a long time that the cookies are going, it's going to be a cookieless environment and everything, but yes, still the cookies are there. So today in the advertising fraternity, what we see is that any of these Google Chromes or all, they've already, when you go onto the website, they ask you whether you want to do the cookies or you want to accept or you want to delete. So as we see that people are accepting it at this point of time, but going forward, there will be a shift which will be there, and that will help. Looking at all the consumers today, if I talk about, they are trying their level best that their data should not be out. And at tech companies like us, yes, we are also working on it, that data privacy is the most important criteria for any kind of advertising, any kind of branding, because when we talk of digital advertising today, digital advertising is a very vast terminology, wherein we talk about not only branding, we talk about performance business as well. So collecting leads, collecting data of the client, collecting their credit card details and all. So that's a very secured environment wherein we need to play and we need to ensure. So the users are really trying not to share their data and go on to the fact with that particular thing. If you look at it today, there are technologies wherein listening technologies, wherein whatever you talk is being listened by a mobile phone as well. So if we're discussing something, I would say a holiday today in Singapore or something, so I'm sure that if we've discussed it for a long time, then after 10 minutes you would see those advertisements on Instagram or anywhere coming onto your phone. So digital is where it is grooming, and that's where it is going. So everything is there, everything is being heard of, everything is being listened of. So yes, data privacy with AdTech platforms and other platforms is really important to be taken care of.
I think what makes it also dangerous is the very fact that you can actually track information, and you're storing it there, you're retrieving that information, you're processing it, you're sort of getting a context of a particular user engagement, and then target advertisements, target things to that particular user, because it's happened to me. I remember sitting late night, I was just chatting with my wife, and I said, I'm feeling sleepy. And my phone responds saying that coffee day is close by, and details like that. So it was scary sometimes that it's constantly listening. But it also opens a door where you can misuse if you want to.
Yes.
Okay? And I think just as how the industry is evolving, we are using AI to sort of build context and make people's life better. There is also another industry where people are tracking this information, and they could use it against you if they want. Sometimes I wonder, are we entering into a world of digital warfare? If you want to actually target a certain set of people, it's possible today. I think that's where we need to be sort of careful, and the awareness of privacy is also so important in that context.
Yeah, everything has its pros and cons, and from the consumer perspective, it's convenience, but it's also targeted information that fits your profile and fits your needs and behaviors. We've seen some tests with digital advertising in metro stations that when you pass by your Wi-Fi or Bluetooth connects, you get tailor-made advertisement on those wall frames. So that's interesting. Yeah, the negative part is that they know everything about you, and you're easy to be hacked or tracked in a way you do not prefer. Yeah. We've discussed it earlier. It's funny if you look back at the movie The Net of Sandra Bullock in the 90s. We never thought it was possible that things like that would happen in the near future, although I think every movie that's been made has been thought by a human being. So everything that happens, even in a fugitive perspective, is also someday a reality.
True.
We need to balance the pros and the cons, and we need to seek what the thin line is between convenience and applicable security. Although, taking in account the previous discussion about security and how far it goes, it really is unknown territory and a search in the upcoming years to see where the thin line is. I'm not sure if regulatory impacts from countries will help us, or that they only try to fix the back door while everybody else is already working on breaking down the front door again. How do you see that perspective? How are we innovative enough to beat it up front and still benefit the pros of data management?
Definitely, because we do see value when you are able to track a certain consumer behavior, right? Let me just give an example. Somebody is buying televisions, music systems, speakers, and basically investing heavily in electronics. And then you sort of track this particular behavior, right? And then you know that, okay, this person, we can sell cameras, we can sell this because this person is a tech-savvy person, okay, or someone who likes gadgets. And suddenly this person stops buying gadgets. And all they are now, because this person is married, this person had a child, and now he's buying diapers, he's buying baby clothes, and so on. Earlier, it was not possible to track that it's the same customer because it's a complete different profile. But today, we are even tracking social media because this guy posts saying that I had a baby, okay, and it's there out there. And then you're able to correlate that and you know what to target. So in other words, it's not just a certain act or an incidence in somebody's life. You're able to track the entire journey of a customer and then accommodate it. Now, this, as we said, this has pros, it has cons, because a lot of it is out there. You don't want to be out, but people know. Okay, Google has most of our data because they track where you went, where you spent your time, everything is there. The location tracking is there. Now, I think what is important, coming back to your point, is guardrails in terms of what is legitimate, what is ethical, and what should not be allowed. And I think while people are trying to use the front door to sort of build as well as to also invade in, I think having those guardrails, maybe policies from governments, policies from companies, and I see even there a lot of evolution is happening because a lot of things that you do, like for example, Apple will not allow you to do this, this, and this. And they put restrictions. You can't do, even if you're putting an app over there, there are restrictions in terms of what you can track and what you cannot track. Because of the ideology that no data leaves your phone. Similar to our ideology as a company, no data leaves a customer's environment. I think putting those boundaries are essential, Okay, I think even Google is talking about it recent times, but at least I was following what Apple was talking about. I think that is really important because it sort of restricts companies innovating on top of these platforms to follow a certain norm, to in fact even bringing out, being transparent about what they do. Like if I'm going to capture this information, I'm going to disclose to the customer where is this information going to be used. And the customer then tends to trust you better. It just sets a whole different environment of trust for people to collaborate.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's also effective for you guys
Yes.
in advertising. It depends on the branch or the company. If customers are seeking for more transparency and confirmation about how the data is used, data is the new currency. If you take it into the healthcare sector, for example, people are more hesitant in sharing their data because they don't want any insurance penalties because of their lifestyle. On the other hand, they waive them easily if it's being used for tips, tricks in how to improve their health while maintaining the same lifestyle. Do you see any trends in that on the advertising part?
So yes, if I talk about not about the consumer, let me talk about the brand over here. So when it comes to the brand and a brand is launching a product or something and they want to do a branding campaign, like an advertising campaign, so they primarily look at a lot of brand safety features where they want to be present at. Because today when we talk about all these data privacy and all, the brands knows that if a client data is being leaked out, then that's an issue with the kind of advertising that they're doing. Because we as an ad tech company track everything. We know that where the ad has been run, we know that who's clicking it, how many CTRs, click-through ratios, click-to visits and everything is coming onto it. So we can track it, that is trackable. So even the brand today says that let's work in a very brand safe environment and say for example there should be no negativity, there should be only positive news or a positive content, or there might be possible that healthcare brand doesn't want to go onto a news per se kind of an articles as well and advertise because they feel that there's some negativity that's placed. So today, contextual is the thing in the advertising industry which is taking place, and they look at all the keywords on what they want to be present, what people are reading, because Google has embedded a lot of keywords into place which are being tracked upon. So they ensure those keywords are important, and for that, it is very important for a brand to work on as well. That is what.
Just a shift from consumer to business. Data is the new currency. Companies are eager for data because it can affect their business in a positive way.
Yes.
You see, for example, this is a typical example in the Netherlands. People share their driving skill data via their car in order to get a discount on their car insurance. That data is being sold by the same car insurance company to businesses that are interested in data of drivers. How is that line between waiving privacy, benefiting as a consumer in terms of money, and the business in data between businesses? Is there an ethical line in that, or should we be more concerned about security and privacy in that area?
Definitely, because when you look at ethics when it comes to how data is being used, is there an ethical line? Most of the time that is so thinned out that you just don't know where you have crossed that line. In fact, even this, when you were mentioning about cookies, okay, we call it cookies, and do you accept the cookies? And people click yes.
Right.
But I'm just thinking, if we had to call that cookies as a tracker, would people really click on it? Would you accept it? Like, if you really, because that's what it is, it's a tracker. And we call it a cookie so that it sounds nice. I think that's where it becomes very tricky. We play on the minds of people,
Yeah.
right? Now, I think what is needed is we need more companies, more business owners who are looking at providing services coming in from an ethical point of view, okay? Which means when we tell the customer, this is how your data is going to be used, we have to honor that, okay? If we say that we are going to collect this data, we just collect only that data that we promise the customer that we are going to collect, and it's going to be used in this context. And I think this is where certifications like SOC 2, Type 2, your GDPR compliance, your CCPA compliance, and you have a whole series of compliance like ISO. They come into picture. When you're a business who's certified, you're also being audited in terms of whether you do what you claim to do. And I think that's a very, very essential part of businesses where, like, if you want to get the trust of the customer, you need to go that way.
Yeah, doesn't also that make an interesting angle for companies and their brand image to proactively have a narrative on how they use the data of their customers and give them a full transparency for what the data will be used or not be used and what their ethical story is behind it to do or not to do so? And second question, that's a little bit forward to the future. Some innovation speaker recently was debating for more ethical laws in the business law to make sure that we can also have a justice system in regards to data security, data privacy, that will look more on the ethical part of it than just the factual part of it. Because Cookie Monster in Sesame Street is also a nice monster, but still it's a monster regarding to the friendly part of the cookies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, wondering, what do you think about it?
So yes, as I mentioned, that cookies are going to stay. Cookies, what we say today as well, I was reading somewhere that it says that 70% of the cookies are gone and 30% is still there. So that 30% of the cookies which are still there are going to act behind it and they're going to do the tracking. So everyone needs to be safe and secure that how the data can be provided and how a consumer can save his data or her data and not go out. As we mentioned that, you are at your driving school data and everything is going out. So people need to be considered and think that what kind of data do they want to give out. It's not that anything and everything, you've been asked for 10 things and you just give out those 10 things, then you might get it. The people who think about it and they do it. But yes, we people need to be safe and sound that how do we give out data.
To add to that, I think as businesses, we need to spread awareness to consumers. What is the impact of them sharing the data? Like, again, coming back to that article that you had published, people throw away their privacy for the sake of convenience. But I think to educate people, saying this is how your privacy gets impacted when you do certain things, and then look at it from a point of empowering them and making technology available to them to sort of decide what they want to share, what they don't want to share. Make them the hero, make them the decision makers, rather than invading into their privacy. And if they open up the doors for businesses to come in and collect that data, and you honor the commitments that you keep with them, I think that's the part of the ethics that we'll have to bring forward.
Yes, I think so too. I think it's also a really plus point for your brand story if you incorporate a disruptive message in relation to data and data privacy. You saw it with the outdoors company that had a campaign on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Please, we don't do it. We just motivate you to get outdoors and enjoying your holidays and come back healthy again, and we'll give you the discount anyway. In relation to data privacy, I think it's a real unique selling point if companies would be bold enough to take a narrative that sets them apart from the others instead of trying to muffle up the cookie privacy, data, usage, etc., but just embrace it and give it their own twist that will fit their image and DNA as a company, and be full open about it towards their customers. I think it will really enhance you as a brand and company.
I
Yes.
think as a the transparency is the key.
Yes, the
Okay,
transparency and awareness is the key,
Exactly,
basically, which
exactly.
needs to be embedded and needs to be taken care by the business and by the consumer as well. So both has to be in hand. It cannot be the transparency is there, but the awareness isn't there, and the people are still going in and doing it. So they need to accept the fact that yes, if the awareness is there, that is for a reason which has been happening. I'll give you a small example that we in Hybrid, we've got certain other markets that we work into, like Poland, Indonesia. We started with the Thailand market, and when we were working with the Thailand market, we were told by the brands and by the ad agencies as well that please ensure that no advertising goes on to the kings or the empire articles at all. So we have an iron hub at the back end, which is our content management hub, wherein they look at the keywords and everything. So we went ahead and did a survey in the Thailand market across all the websites, across the programmatic era, and we checked out that where the articles are being mentioned, wherein it mentions about the king or the royal family, and we checked it and ensured that no advertising goes on to those particular platforms, because that is not allowed at all. So this is the kind of security that ad tech platforms like us take into place. But yes, at the end, the brands have to be safe as well, wherein they look into it. And when we look at data privacy, it is the consumer who needs to ensure that they do not give out the data, even if the brand has been asking for it. Because today's world, I would say a brand might not be doing it, but there might be someone small who's just clicked onto that particular ad and taken that ad and used it for some particular usage. We get a lot of SMSs and calls in India today saying that, I'm calling from this place and we need this data of yours. And there are people who actually give it out. And the moment they give it out, their phones and everything, their account details and everything has been hacked on. So that's where, and the government is trying to make you aware. If the government is making you aware, then the people need to understand that there is something which is happening, something where the disruption is happening, and we need to be careful about it. So yes, I would say that we all need to be careful about our own data before we give it out to any kind of apps, any kind of websites, wherever we go on to it.
Yeah, one question for you in that same context, right? Since you're from the marketing space, there are a lot of companies in the marketing space, especially digital marketing, where you get contacts and your business thrives on just selling information about people and organizations. Now, there are companies who stand there from an ethical standpoint, and they stand for, okay, the values and all the data is sourced ethically. But I've spoken to a lot of them. They say that it's just not viable to run a business from that model, and they look at, okay, there are various ways you can actually hack and get data. What's your perspective in terms of, is there a way we can identify these companies? How do we do this as a customer?
I think it's a Dutch saying. It's jijn, or it's nearly German saying jijn. It's a yes and a no. You can be on the ethical side and be transparent, embrace it, make sure to communicate with your consumers about the how and the why you use the data, but also you just tweak it a little bit to get your narrative across in a positive way, but still use the data within the narrative for the marketing and sales way. Because in the end, everybody wants to earn the money. I think it's smart in the upcoming years to seed now and harvest later. Especially next generations will have a more outspoken opinion about ethicals, sustainability. The next generations will really take a stand in negative way towards companies that will misuse their trust. They waive it for now, but if it's being abused or misused, you will get the payment later. So it's, of course, a thin line. It's always a yes and a no. You have to seek the area that it's still ethical, but also still earnable as a company, and make sure that everybody sees and understands what you're doing and why you're doing it. Or otherwise, yeah, you will get the check later.
Right.
I'm convinced of that.
Yeah, it's somewhere it hits you back when...
Yes, it will slap you in the face hard.
True.
Yeah, I'm not sure because we're almost over time, I think, and everybody, we're talking about cookies and it's lunchtime. So that doesn't really help. Are there any questions from the audience on this topic, or does anybody want to comment or add something? Yes? I see. Yes?
So basically, I have a question from all three of you on this. Since we are talking about the data privacy, so what are the good practice I can do to ensure that my data is getting secured? Because nowadays my phone is connected with the internet. My phone has all the information, what is my date of birth, what type of content I watch, what things I like, what kind of contact I have. Everything is connected with my phone and it's synced with the internet. So the companies, the big chunks companies like Amazon, Google are out there who has the majority share of it, of the data itself. So how I can ensure that my data is not going to be misused by the company or by any third party itself. So the good practices which you can suggest to be followed on that?
I think from a data privacy point of view, there are a lot of times when you download apps, it comes down to what apps you use, right? So when you are installing some app, there is a disclaimer there saying that this is how your data will be used. Okay?
Agreement policy.
None of us actually read it, right? In fact, I came across this statement saying that the biggest lie that is spoken in the world is when you say that I agree to the terms and conditions. Okay? Where you have never read it. I've read it and understood it. None of us do that. I think it comes down to that. If you're really serious about data privacy, understand the terms and conditions, because most of the time we just give it away. It's a different matter whether the company honors the terms and conditions. That's where we need to work with trustable brands. Okay?
Yeah. Well, I do have a real practical best practice on this topic. It's the same outdoor company that also had the guts to close up on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. They really use the data to give people also non-commercial tips and tricks, like the best hiking tours in the area that they would most likely use their previous bought camping gear. But also once a year they send their customers an email with, oh, do you still want us to maintain your data? Did you really enjoyed the tips and tricks that we gave you, or do you want us to clear your history and please let us know why this and that is the reason to do so. You see that the brand trust of that company has increased after that they applied this a little bit of different approach in how they communicate the data privacy with their customers.
In fact, from our company's point of view, what we took a very strong stand on was to maintain the transparency. So what we did was, even before we launched the product, the first thing we invested on was compliance. We got our SOC 2 Type 2 compliance in place, And then we opened up a trust center where I think many companies are doing that today. It was pretty inspiring to see that, where you just go to the trust center and say, okay, I want to have a look at your privacy policy. I want to see your information security policy. I want to see this. And everything is there. You just apply for it, you get it. So we made that completely transparent. Even like if we have had an incident like someone hacked us, I think the customers and the consumers should know that. So all the incidents, everything is transparent. And I think I would encourage more businesses to adopt ways of acquiring the trust of customers. And from a customer's point of view, before you click on something and say, yes, I'm ready to share this, read the clauses behind that, where this is going to be used. I think that will take you a long way.
True. So yes, it is self-awareness that needs to be there. And again, before you click on the I agree button, we all should try to read the terms and conditions and go ahead. That would help us a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I think that's it for today, or before lunchtime, because everybody's everybody is looking forward to those cookies. Is there a last outtake from you guys?
I guess
again
about data privacy, what we've spoken about, the major points are transparency, awareness, which needs to be there, and self-awareness as well. People need to take care of. These are the 3 keywords that we need to work out.
Yeah, and if there's any other questions, we are around.
Yes,
so you can
we're
feel
around.
free to
Please feel
reach out.
free to
That's true.
connect.
Yeah, and my last takeout is then dare to be different and try to name the elephant in the room and make it into a unique selling point as a brand. I think you really can make a difference there. Thank you.
Thanks.